event, which is one of the most important aspects of GST, and we all have to understand this in much detail. Otherwise, we can be in a trouble. Reason being that unless we know the taxable event, we will not be able to identify whether any transaction that we are entering into is taxable, is leviable and covered under GST or not. So for that, I decided that before discussing the payment of tax, rules and formats, accounts and records, let us first cover the taxable event, and therefore I have rescheduled the entire session. So first of all, let us see the presentation plan of the day, what we are going to understand today. In this, first and foremost, we will be trying to understand the term supply, the term goods, the term services and the term supply, that is taxable event under GST. After that, we will understand Schedule 1 to Schedule 4 of revised model GST law, which are going to be forming part of the definition of supply itself, and then thereafter we will go to the question and answers. So this will be the entire presentation plan for the day. Now from the inception, we have done 4 sessions up till now, but we have never tried to understand what does the term GST means, that is goods and services. So first and foremost, today we will have to understand the term goods and the term services. So let us go to the term goods and understand how it is defined under the model GST law. As per clause 49 of section 2, the term goods means. Now before looking into the entire definition provided in the Act, I would like to explain the term goods in a simple language, and such language can be: goods are anything movable, anything that is movable are covered under the definition of goods, except money and securities. Anything that is movable is goods under GST, except money and securities, but it includes actionable claims. So what is money, what is security, what are actionable claims? We will be understanding that today. And then it further includes certain other items which in general we can see that it is immovable, but since those are severable from the earth on the basis of a contract, that will again be falling into the definition of goods. So now let us proceed and see how exactly the term goods is defined under GST. Now we have deliberated and touched upon the entire definition of supply, in detail, and I think in last 2 minutes I will be touching upon whatever we have discussed today, and then we will be taking question and answers, because today's session I have completed as per my knowledge. Whatever we have done today is, first of all, we have understood the meaning of term goods and also the scope of it, because we have came to know that goods, anything movable is goods, but it does not include money or securities, but it includes actionable claims and something which is forming part of land but which is agreed to be severed under a contract of supply, that is goods. Then we have understood the term services. Anything other than goods is a service, but in that situation again it says that it does not include money or securities, but yes, a transaction which changes the form of currency, or which exchanges the currency, or which changes the denomination of currency, and you are charging for such changes, then such charge will be supply of service, and it will fall under the definition of service. And then we have discussed the term supply as defined under section 3 in detail. There were 5 subsections which is there on your screen. First subsection was having 3 limbs: all forms of supply made or agreed to be made for a consideration by a person in course or furtherance of business. Second limb was importation of service for a consideration whether or not in course or furtherance of business. Third was supply specified in schedule 1 without a consideration. These were 3 limbs in subsection 1. Then subsection 2 provided schedule 2, which shall apply for determining what is to be treated as supply of goods and what is to be treated as supply of service. Subsection 3, which provides for activities or transactions which are covered under schedule 3 and not to be made taxable under GST. Then activities or transactions which are covered under schedule 4 and undertaken by central government, state government or local authority, again which shall not be treated as supply of service and also not to be treated as supply of goods. Then subsection 4 which was giving power to the central government or state government that on the basis of recommendation of the GST Council, they can by way of issuance of a notification specify something that can be treated as supply of goods and not a supply of service, or supply of service and not a supply of goods, or which can be treated as neither a supply of goods nor a supply of service. And last, subsection 5, it was dealing with the 2 important terms, composite supply and mixed supply. We have tried to understand the definition of composite supply and mixed supply, and then for composite supply there has to be a principal supply, and in case it is a matter of composite supply, then rate which is applicable to principal supply will be the rate of the composite supply as a whole, and in case of mixed supply, the highest rate of the mixed bundle will be applicable to the entire supply. With this, I invite question and answers from each one of you.